And the topic for today is Set 13 will be remembered as one of the best sets in TFT history. This is actually a tweet Mort made earlier this week.
I didn't say it was the best, but
No, but we said, you said one of the best.
one of the
Yeah,
best.
that's right.
Yes.
That's the topic.
Yes.
If there's anything wrong with the topic.
Yep. No. That's good.
And then, to which, of course, Milk said, "Huh? Really?" So that's
Wait,
the
I feel like
basis
this set is like
of
one
the
of the
debate.
You did
most.
say that.
Yeah,
I feel
all
like
right.
this is like one of the most.
Hold on.
Okay,
Yeah, 1 minute on the clock. Mortdog with the affirmative. Take it away.
Sure, I'll go first. I think when we talk about balance, which is only part of the equation, it is the best balance set we've ever had.
Wow.
I think there might be individual patches you could say are better, but as far as a whole, it is the best. It's not necessarily the flashiest, right? I think there have been other set mechanics that have been flashier, but the reality is having so many playable lines, it felt like at any time you could play a game, pick a champion, and have so many things to play feels really good. There's a lot of different memories. And I think one of the things that kind of doesn't get talked about much with the set is the augments. There was a big augment refresh this set. There's a lot of very fun augments this set that have to be talked about, right? Things like Golemify or the team-up augments, things like that. And then the anomaly, it's a slightly, underrated thing, but it created some cool moments, giant ergots, infectious anomaly. So overall, like I said, nothing in the package is like singly the S tier, but as a whole, it is like as good as TFT has been in a long time. So I think it will.
Okay. All right. So that is time. What do you think, chat? Is he right? Chat thinks Mort is cooking so far, but now, Milk, you're not replying to his points directly right now. You're just saying, in general, your stance. You don't have to reply to him directly because that's going to come afterward. Go ahead. Take it away. 1 minute.
So basically, I think this is one of the worst balance sets of all time because like the way you're balancing it now is you're basically making every single comp pre-made and like unflexible so that you can easier balance the comps by like just moving the units because they're unplayable in other comps. So for example, you can no longer play Heimer in like Black Rose. Like you can't like roll for Heimer and Silco in Black Rose. So you just like when you roll for Heimer, it's like its own comp, and more comps are more like separated and stuff like that. Yeah, and like for augments, like hero augments, and there's like more real augments like Starry Night, too much value. Like these reroll augments are just like, I just think you're forcing everyone to play more in 2-1, and just like committing. And not only that, but like I think the Reforger, when you get dropped like blue, like tier, you can't no longer just play a random Heimer or BFBF. You can't play Corki. So the balance is so bad that you can't play it. So you just have to give them Reforger so they can play something else.
All right. So we are at time. Somehow Milk looped us back to inflation, which I think is very funny. Okay, so Mort, you're going to have 1 minute on the clock. You can respond to Milk's counterpoints here, and then Milk will have the final rebuttal.
Sure. I mean, saying it's one of the worst balance sets of all time is certainly a wild take. He says you can't play Heimerdinger and Black Rose. That's true. You can't just take random overpowered champions, ignore everything else, and slam them in. That's true. Milk really likes the flex metas where you can play Flex Syndra with everything because having overpowered champs is good, apparently. Don't know why, but Milk has this weird fascination with like comps where traits don't matter. That's just not TFT anymore. The reality is, you can play a lot of different things. You mentioned Heimerdinger. You can play him in Academy, or you can play him in Visionary. There are multiple options to play a lot of these different carries. Corki can be played in Scrap, can be played in Artillerist, can be played in Emissary. There's a lot of flex going on here. To say you're decided at 2-1 is bananas, and frankly, Milk, maybe it's why you're sitting on the couch.
What?
He's right. Okay, 10 seconds left on the clock. Mort's just going to end it there. All right, Milk, you have the final rebuttal, 1 minute, and then we go to voting for the final voting. 1 minute of rebuttal counterpoints to what we're saying.
Okay, the fact that Corki can't be played in Black Rose, like when you're rerolling for Twitch, and you can't, or not rerolling, when you're replaying Twitch snipers, and you can't play Corki with your Twitch sometimes in replacement, I feel like that's like an example of like how unflexible the game is, and yeah, I don't know. I just think this patch, this set is not like the worst balance set, but it's definitely not the best. I would put this hard in the middle as one of the sets that you would just forget because there's nothing about the set that just stands out. So I just think I highly disagree with this set being as one of the best sets.
Okay, we have 25 seconds. I'm going to prompt you again. What would be an example of one of the best sets then? Because you're just
okay, when something like completely new happens to the game, like set 6 for example, like augments for the first time. And like that changed the game forever. I feel like that was like a really good set. I would say last set with Charms being such a good mechanic, that was like one of the best sets. And like I don't people don't like set 2, but I think set 2 was like one of the best sets.
That's pretty.
Yeah. Also, I think like Chem Baron like being like a trait that just kills like Silco flexibility. Like yeah.
Okay. All right. So, chat, now we basically enter the final voting round. If you haven't voted, type Mimi in chat, MIMI, if you think Milk is right and he was right. If you vote for Mortdog, please type Let Mort Cook. And I gotta say,
I'm kind of still thinking this is one of the best sets. That is like mind blowing to me.
Wait, what?
Like that this is one of the best sets.
Well, the thing is, if you look at the tier list, Milk, and I say this with Mort sitting right there, there are some pretty bad sets in TFT, and so you move aside a good portion of bad sets, and you look at the good sets, and you're like, okay, well this one's mid, and you look at the actual good sets. I can see it. I don't have it second. Mort put it second all time.
Yeah, but like 6, like last set. 2,
Hey,
5,
to be fair, I'm with you on 6. 6 is my number 1 still.
Like,
Yeah.
So 6 is my number 1.
There were some bad sets, there were some mid sets, and there's been some really good sets. I probably put this like maybe like 5th or something, but that's because I really value some other sets.
Sure.
I think set 6 was great. I think set 10 was great. I think set 4 was great. I really like.
I think it's great. Everyone has different opinions. Like, there's a lot of people who really value 10. A lot of people really love 10.
Yeah,
and I know
that's
you
true.
hate it. So
The final vote is in, and it
Wait,
looks
so chat
like
really
it
likes the set?
slants towards Mort. Where did the 1% go? 59,
Okay,
40.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
Okay, thing is, if they're here by the end of the set, right? Everyone that didn't like the set is probably gone by now.
Oh,
So
you're
I
saying
feel
we
like
biased the polls.
This is Twitch chat bias.
I
Because
see,
people that are
I
here
see.
probably like this set.
But I will say that the people who are here, look, listen, you convinced some people, but looks like 60%, and we have thousands of people here, so we have a lot of people who actually agree with you, Milk. Don't worry about that. But
Yeah, but most
looks
of
like
them
for now,
agree with
there are
Mort,
definitely things people
gone.
don't like. There are
He's
people who
right.
don't like the 6 cost. There are people who don't like some of the opening encounters. Like I said, I'm not going to say it's the perfect set. I've never said that.
and some people would actually go, like, would also say some of the points against you. So I think that there are sharp augment imbalances, for example, at the different points of the set. I still think that exists in some capacity. I still don't.
Yeah, I think there's some rose-tinted goggles of these other sets, though, that were clearly also had these
it's
issues.
true.
So,
But just because it was much worse than other set doesn't mean that it's not felt this set.
Yep.
But yeah, so all things considering, I think it's a good set. I would give this set like a B+, A- at worst.
Sure.
I think it's pretty good.
You're allowed to have that.
And
opinion.
you put it like just in the middle, right?
Yeah, I put it in the middle. I don't think it's bad.
Yeah,
I
not a
think
bad
it's in the
set.
middle.
That's good. That's